Oh my god, good morning. I am here today to talk about Sleepless, the musical, which is why I wasn't really sleeping, you get that. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I'm obsessed with all things theatre. So, yesterday I went to go and see Sleepless the musical at the Troubadour Theatre in Wembley Park. And this is basically a huge deal because this is kind of the first big indoor musical to come back after the period of lockdown that we have been in, with a socially distant audience and all sorts of regulations. I'm going to tell you everything about the show, the process for seeing the show, what the safety measures are like, all of it. Sleepless, went to see the show but don't know the songs that well yet. So, there's so much backstory to this and my experience with Sleepless the musical. I saw a preview version of it last November, December, and it was this weird weekend where they did a couple of performances. There was basically no set, there were a couple pieces of IKEA furniture, there was basically no costume, and they were doing this show in this enormous theatre. I remember arriving and thinking, this theatre is huge, the stage is massive, we're so far away. Cut to, there's a worldwide pandemic that means you cannot sit close to other people in theatres, and the only theatres that can reopen are massive ones, and suddenly it makes sense. What did they know before we did? How did they know? Suspicious. In any case, everything is coming up Troubadour because they have this theatre in Wembley Park that is big enough to socially distance, basically. When I saw the show the last time, and I've put it on my blog, I was not the biggest fan of this show. I had spent a weekend building furniture and helping my friends move flat. I was kind of falling asleep. That's not all on the show, that's partially on me. But it was also this weird preview performance that didn't really make sense. I later found out from my friend Sean on Twitter, with all the news and gossip, that the reason they had to stage that performance is because if they hadn't performed it, they would have lost the rights to the show. Having rights to things, and especially rights to musical adaptations of movies, is very complicated. It's the same producers who produced Big in the West End at the Dominion Theatre, another Tom Hanks movie. And they had the rights to Sleepless in Seattle and Big as a pair, but they had to produce it within a certain time frame. So they had to do that little concert, half-finished version, so they could do the full run this year. I liked it so much more this year with all the set and the costumes and some slightly different casting. But first, I want to talk to you about my actual process for booking tickets for this show. I had been looking for this particular date because I was already going to be in London and I had the afternoon free. I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could do a 2-show day? That seems crazy right now, but I thought, wouldn't that be fantastic? So I'm at the gym about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I see a tweet saying they've released more seats for the matinee. I panic, book one, go, oh yay, and then I take a half second to realise what time it is and that I'd have 2 hours to get to the matinee, which if it was in central London is fine, but this is in Wembley. I forget how far away Wembley is. And I've just bought tickets for a matinee, and then I realised it's in North London, so I'm running home. I haven't been that stressed in months. I haven't been that rushed for anything in months. But you know what? Me running to a matinee, you know what? I've missed that energy. Somehow, divine intervention, I made all my trains, and I made it to the venue on time. I'm here. I have arrived. Woohoo! Just done a bag check, contactless, and temperature check at the door, and now I'm going in. Very exciting. And then you go into the theatre, they give you a little bit of a talk, they show you where everything is, and you have specific doors you have to enter through so it doesn't get too congested. There was a bar area with a queue, there was a merch kiosk with perspex screens. So we have these lovely t-shirts, we have mugs and programmes, we have some tote bags as well. You know I love a tote bag. I think those are fridge magnets. I need fridge magnets. They've really thought of everything. There's also a one-way system so that you can only travel in one direction around the venue, which really helps, A, for finding your way around this theatre, and B, for just not having to run into that many people. If anyone's feeling anxious about going to the theatre, it really was a seamless process and it was very easy not to run into other people. And then when you get inside the auditorium, you see they've blocked out alternate seats and the seats behind other seats in different rows to leave different size gaps. So some pairs of seats, some single seats, some groups of 3s, 4s, 5s. It really is this huge theatre space once you get inside the auditorium, so there was enough room to still fit in a decent number of audience members. Which brings me to the show itself. I'm going to give you a little bit of a review of the show. Now, Sleepless in Seattle, if you don't know, is a romantic comedy that originally starred Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It is reasonably iconic. It is about a widower father, his son calls into a radio station about the fact he's worried about his dad. He thinks he needs a new wife because he's not sleeping. The dad then has to talk to the radio station and talks about his late wife and his feelings, and women across the country hear and fall in love with him, including Meg Ryan, who has this other boyfriend, but she's sort of always watched romantic movies and she believes in destiny and true love and all of these things. And they have a bunch of friends as well, like you do in romantic comedies. All of the tropes are there. Kimberley Walsh plays Meg Ryan's part, and she's so great in this. The script for her is particularly great. There's just so many amazing little neurotic lines that she has. She obsesses over these words, and she has to learn so many lines in this script because she talks about 100 words per minute. But she's really endearing, and she has a fantastic blue coat. Just, all of her wardrobe is just stunning in this show. I really do want that coat. And Jay McGuiness now plays Sam, the dad. And he is new to this cast. He wasn't in the preview version last year, but he was in Big with Kimberley Walsh, so they kind of reunited them. And it's a sensible casting approach, I think, because the two of them have a lot of fans. The two of them together have good chemistry. Spoiler alert, the weird thing about this show is it's a romantic comedy where they don't meet until the end of the show. And that's one of the challenges of this show as well, I think. It's not this roller coaster plot. It is quite slow a plot, so they have to engage you with other methods, with these fun side characters, with these fun musical numbers. I like Jay McGuiness in this show. He has a lovely voice, very tender and sweet. I saw Michael Xavier do it previously. Now Jay McGuiness has a very different voice than Michael Xavier, but it was sort of just trembly and soft, and so when he's singing the song about his late wife, it was just really heartbreaking and really beautiful and endearing. And I think it almost worked better that he did it softly rather than bold musical theatre moment. It was just really nice and really subtle. And I had a lot of time for that. The whole supporting cast are fantastic. Tanya Mathurin as Becky, which is Annie, Kimberley Walsh's friend. She's hilarious. Corey English, who is his friend. He's hilarious as well. The kid who played the son was really good at this performance. Harriet Thorpe was there. Harriet Thorpe should be in everything. No musical is not improved by adding Harriet Thorpe. She just brings a level of gravitas. I just love Harriet Thorpe. My favourite musical numbers in this show, the whole score is jazz and big band swing kind of fusion type thing. There's a song that Kimberley Walsh's character sings called It's Out of My Hands. That's been in my head the entire day since I saw it yesterday. Also, there is a song that comes, so after he goes on the radio and the women of the nation fall in love with him, there's a song that these three slightly psychotic and very different women sing where they're writing these letters to him, and it's like sometimes you could drive a person crazy from Company on crack. It's this really fun musical moment. It's a big departure from the rest of the show because it just goes to this sort of crazy place. I think my favourite thing about the show though has to be the set. It is this gorgeous set and such a departure from what they had before. They have this big glass house that turns and revolves and a thing comes up to reveal it, and they have decking and they have a river that runs it has a moat. This stage has a moat. How many stages have moats? I love a water feature at the best of times, and that was very exciting for me. They've also added a whole finale section for the curtain call where Kimberley Walsh and Jay McGuiness get to dance together, which is sort of a nod to the fact they've both been on Strictly Come Dancing, and it's where a lot of their fan base comes from, as well as the whole The Wanted and Girls Aloud thing. I just think the whole thing has been very cleverly produced, and the level of detail that they've gone to with the casting and the costuming and the set design and everything in that theatre to make people feel safe is just so reassuring and so commendable. In terms of getting something like this off the ground at this time, it's really spectacular the way they've been able to do it. The amount of testing they're doing with the cast on a daily basis, the fact that they've given all of their staff masks with see-through panels to help deaf or hard of hearing customers. They've got hand sanitizer stations everywhere, and they are basically just running a normal musical. There's an interval, and there's a bar, and there's a merch kiosk, and there's a full 2-act show. That's not happening anywhere else at the moment. It's insane that they've managed to do that, and it's just so impressive. My takeaway from this, it's not my favourite show in the world. It's really nice. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more this time than I had the previous time. I think it's just a nice, pleasant way to spend an afternoon or an evening at the theatre. I would encourage everyone to go just because A, you can't see any other full stage 2-act musicals right now, and B, I would really love for these producers and this cast and this venue to get the support right now, because they're all working so hard to produce live musical theatre at this time, and I think they really deserve the support. Let me know if you have any other questions about Sleepless the Musical. I think I have covered everything, but I'm sure there is more I can tell you if you drop me a comment in the comments section down below. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, make sure to subscribe to my Stagey YouTube channel, where I have not only more theatre trips coming up soon, but all sorts of stagey content. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!